I hope you are well. Today I'm going to be sharing 5 autumnal inspired drink ideas. On the menu we have a fall fizz where we're honing in those beautiful seasonal pear flavors with some thyme. We also have a campfire cappuccino with a homemade toasted marshmallow on top. We're really elevating it this year. And then we have one called the Great Pumpkin, which is a pumpkin maple shaken espresso, tried and true, just fall flavors. And then we have our maple mushroom mocha, which we've made a similar one in the past, but we're kind of reimagining it for this year. And finally, we have our apple cider, which you can have just as a standard chai latte, or if you want to make it a dirty chai, pop in a little shot of espresso. We absolutely can do that, but I'm so excited to share these recipes with you all. Let's kick things off with the Great Pumpkin. I will have all of the specific measurements and ingredients listed in the description if you're hoping to recreate any of these drinks for yourself, and feel free to adjust them, have fun with it, depending on how big your glass is. If you're making it for yourself or for a party of 2, feel free to, again, make it your own. But first things first, for the Great Pumpkin, we are going to work on a pumpkin maple syrup. And this is so incredibly delicious. It's great for coffees, but I actually have been adding it to my oatmeal as well in the morning. I've been making this pumpkin oatmeal with pecans and pumpkin seeds, and it's just delightful. So this is a multi-purpose syrup. You're gonna combine your pumpkin puree, your maple syrup, as well as some pumpkin pie spice and vanilla extract. And if you like it even sweeter, you can add some sugar as well. Once your syrup is complete, you can go ahead and brew up some coffee. I did a double shot of espresso for this version, but feel free to sub with a cup of strongly brewed coffee or 1 shot if you'd like a little bit less caffeine. For the fun part, we're gonna shake it all up. I took this cocktail shaker, added in some ice cubes, some of our pumpkin spice maple syrup, as well as our espresso shot, and then I gave it a good shake and poured it over milk. Really take this coffee to the next level, we just had to make some pumpkin whipped cream. Whipped cream is so simple to make, but it really just elevates any drink or, yummy dessert, of course. So I mixed my heavy whipping cream, sugar, pumpkin puree, and I love to add some dashes of turmeric to just really make the orange color a bit more vibrant. Next up, we have our apple cider. I love the pun for this one. I did want to mention you could make any of these drinks either hot or iced. Living in Florida, I typically love to have a refreshing drink in the afternoon, but this apple cider is so delicious warm as well. But if you want to make the iced version, you're going to pour your cider over some ice cubes and then pour in your chai concentrate, which you could either make or buy store-bought. And then your milk of choice, it's as simple as that. And I pretty much did equal parts of each, but you can, again, adjust that depending on if you want more of that chai flavor, more of that cider flavor, or if you like it more mild and milky. And then to add our little flair on top, I took a dried cinnamon apple piece and stirred it all up to enjoy. Now we have our mushroom mocha. I just simply love an alliteration. So this mushroom maple mocha drink is divine. It's chocolatey, and then we have some medicinal properties because we're gonna add in some chaga powder, which has a very mild flavor. I honestly can't really taste it much, especially when we just put a little bit within a drink, but it's high in antioxidants, and mushrooms in general tend to have a lot of just healthy properties, so I love to just add it in, and it feels like a very woodland inspired beverage. We started out by making our chocolate whipped cream, and I love to use cacao powder for my chocolate creations, so we mix that together, and this whipped cream might be my favorite thing I made in this whole video, simply the whipped cream. It tastes delightful on top of the mocha, but I mean, you could just have the whole bowl of whipped cream. It is so delicious. And then for this one, I decided to brew a strong cup of coffee instead of using espresso. So we made it with our pour over Chemex, and then we melted some chocolate, poured some milk over that, added some more cacao powder, some cinnamon, some chaga. You could even add some maple if you want to sweeten it up, or sugar, but I just really love to put the maple. The maple is working overtime this time of year in our household. And then I mixed in our coffee once that was done brewing, and then I simply whisked it all together so the flavors would be nice and combined and sort of blend beautifully. Poured it over ice again and topped with our chocolatey whipped cream. This Pear Fall Fizz is perfect for an autumnal gathering. It's so refreshing, yet it really hones in on those fall flavors, and we love a little fizzy drink to pair with a yummy soup. I love the contrast of a warm, hearty soup and then a bubbly drink. It's just delightful. So I started off by adding some brown sugar to the rim of our glass, took a little lime and then rolled it in the brown sugar. And we're going to use our cocktail shaker again. You're going to pour in your pear juice, your cider, some thyme, your allspice and cinnamon stick, and then give it a great shake. Top with some ginger ale, and I filled this drink to the brim with some extra flair on top. We did a pear slice, some more thyme, allspice, cinnamon, and I just love the way this turned out. Lastly, we have our Campfire Cappuccino, which this drink is so incredibly warming, and we're just honing in those s'more campfire flavors. And we even went all out and made homemade marshmallows, which was a little trickier than I was expecting. I actually had to make it twice because the first round was so sad. So we made it again, and it was a success. And then I even had a little campfire on our gas stove and gave the marshmallow a little toast, which I love my marshmallows burnt. I like a little crispy. I didn't go too hard for this one because I wanted it to, still look like a marshmallow for this drink. And to really incorporate those campfire s'more flavors, we're actually going to add some miniature chocolate chips, brown sugar, and cinnamon to the bottom of our espresso cup. So if you have some bigger chocolate chips, I actually had some mini chocolate chips on hand, so I knew those would melt okay as the espresso was pouring over it, but you might want to melt your chocolate beforehand if not. And then you're just going to add that all in and let the espresso cover it all, and then you're going to give it a nice mix. Steam up some milk, pour into your mug of choice, and then I sprinkled it with some more cacao powder and our toasted marshmallow. I really hope you enjoy these drink ideas. Let me know if you end up recreating any of them, and I really hope you all have a beautiful rest of your autumn season, and I'm excited to see you next. Bye!